Today on Community Cooking, we have guest chef Andrea DeSantis in the kitchen, and on the menu, we're giving you a healthy alternative to eating your pasta. Today, we're using whole wheat pasta to enjoy with our homemade tomato sauce over garlic sauteed shrimp. You might say it's a healthier version of a shrimp scampi. We are literally cooking with some of the best chefs in our own community. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and be prepared for an awesome menu in under 30 minutes. This is your Community Cooking. Hello and welcome to Community Cooking. I am your host, Kirk Leins, and with me in the kitchen today is my friend Andrea DeSantis.
Hi, how are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm marvelous.
Welcome to our new kitchen.
I know, it's amazing. I like the red, I like the blue, it all goes together. It's
Thank
great.
you very much. I designed it myself.
Well, good job, okay.
Now, let's get this right out of the way. You are a chef at Providence Little Company of Mary Hospital,
I
correct?
am.
Okay, now, here's the thing. It's like when most people think of hospital food, well, they think of something that is institutionalized.
Which couldn't be further from the truth of Little
food-
Company of Mary. We make everything from scratch. We have room service in our Torrance location, which means you can get scrambled eggs at 8 o'clock at night or a filet at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Now, today, you are going to show us sort of a healthy alternative to a shrimp scampi, correct?
Yes, using fresh vegetables from
Yeah,
the farmer's market.
Beautiful. Why don't you tell us about what we've got in this dish?
Okay, what we're going to start off with is a roasted tomato, pepper, and shallot sauce,
Okay.
which I'm going to roast off in the oven. Bring it back over to the stove, saute it with a little olive oil and garlic, and deglaze with a little sherry to give it a little zing. Then I'm going to add some low sodium vegetable stock to keep it healthy. I'm going to reduce that a little bit, and then we're going to blend that. So that's going to be our pasta sauce for the pasta.
So we're talking very, very vegetable-centric meal here to
Yes.
start off with. We've replaced processed or the white flour pasta with whole wheat.
Exactly.
What's the difference here?
Well, you have higher fiber. And then there's also so many different types of pasta available now if you're gluten-free.
Right.
I've seen it made out of black beans. I've seen it made out of quinoa. I've seen it made out
correct.
of corn.
And I've noticed also very little fat and very little sodium as well,
Yeah.
right?
You have a little bit of olive oil, and sodium's going to come a little bit from the shrimp, a little bit from the Parmesan cheese. Like I said before, this is low sodium vegetable stock.
Okay.
So it has a little bit of sodium, but not as much as the regular.
All right. Okay, so I guess we have to get some vegetables roasted
Let's
first,
get
correct?
going.
All right.
All right, I'm just going to have about 4 to 5 Roma tomatoes.
Okay, split in half
Split
lengthwise.
in half, exactly.
And don't you love oven roasted tomatoes?
I
Is that
do.
not
It
like
just
the-
brings out the natural sugars.
Do you know, it's like I'll do these, like a bunch of them on like a weekend and keep them around and put them in salads, put them in
Pizza.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
Just awesome. It concentrates all those flavors and makes it so delicious.
Yeah. So I'm just cutting down all the vegetables, and we're going to roast these along with some shallots.
Okay, and nothing, we don't have to be perfect here because this is all
Yeah,
getting...
it's all going to get blended together.
Okay.
So I'm going to borrow that from
Oh,
you.
okay.
So again, we're using a pan spray, very little fat, just so
Right.
nothing sticks. That's really all you have to do.
And every little bit counts when you're talking about saving fat grams.
Exactly.
And
You
salt.
think a little bit here, a little bit there, but it all adds up in the end.
Right, right.
So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to roast the tomatoes and the peppers separate from the shallots. If I were doing this at home, because they take 2 different amounts of time to
And what are we looking at in
roast.
terms of temperature?
About 425. You want a pretty
Nice
hot
and hot.
oven. Yeah, so you get it browned on
And
top.
tomatoes and peppers about 20, 25. And
Yeah.
is it longer or shorter for the shallots?
Oh, shorter?
Shorter. Okay, so we don't want them to burn.
No, you want them to kind of caramelize a little bit.
So you could get these going and then maybe 10 minutes
And
in,
then throw the shallots in.
in
Exactly.
so it all comes out
yeah,
at the
you don't
same.
need 2 different.
Oh, okay,
different
great.
pans.
And these are ready. We don't need to, because we're not seasoned, we're keeping the
Yeah,
sodium.
exactly.
All
We're going
right.
to put all fresh herbs in.
Now, you've got water boiling
I
over
got
there.
water going.
We're going to get our pasta going, I guess,
Yeah.
while I go.
Put those in the oven to
We've
roast.
got a little swap out here that we've roasted earlier. Actually, let's do this. Absolutely beautiful. Look
Okay,
at that.
so there we go.
All nice and reduced, and yeah, just a little bit of color on
Yeah,
them.
a little bit of color.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to do our roasted tomato sauce. I have a pot going here. I'm going to add a little olive oil.
Now, I like the idea that you're throwing in the peppers in this tomato sauce. It's sort of a little reminiscent of like a romesco, like a Spanish romesco sauce.
Exactly. And then I'm going to add a little minced garlic and get that going a little bit.
Okay, that can't be bad, right?
No.
I'm sure this is a pretty adaptable sauce too. Like you could, I mean, whatever's
available.
In
yeah,
season,
in season.
Everything's in season
yeah,
now, right? But
yeah.
on sale, let's
on
say.
sale, yeah, if it's on sale. You get a good deal on zucchini. You get a good deal on butternut squash.
Throw it
I mean,
in the
that's why
sauce.
pasta's, you know. You can
Awesome.
Do it. Yeah.
Throw it in the sauce. Now, is this something that you would make at the hospital?
This would be available in our cafeteria.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We do a lot of great different dishes in the cafeteria. One day it could be a handmade burrito. Another day it could be a pork stir fry.
Here's a situation where you can kind of cook from around the world, and it can be a different place every single day.
Exactly.
That's kind of neat.
And the challenge of it is, again, like this recipe, is to make it healthy.
And taste good.
Yes.
We can make anything healthy. We can make anything taste good. It's the combination.
It's the two
Here, let me
together.
get that for you.
Okay. So this is going to saute a little bit, and then let this go for about 3 minutes. Let the garlic cook.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is deglaze with some sherry.
Ooh.
A little bit of sherry.
And probably important to note that this is regular sherry, not cooking sherry, correct?
Yeah, because cooking sherry has a higher sodium content.
Yeah, we really, you know, do you ever cook with cooking sherry? Do you
No.
ever use it? No. It's
No.
really why you've got sherry.
Yeah.
It's a fortified wine, and a lot of times I think what ends up happening is the longer you cook and the more it reduces down, the saltier and sort of black it gets.
I heard that's the reason they make it so salty, is so in the olden days the chefs wouldn't
use too
drink.
much? Or
Well, we wouldn't drink it.
You know what? That is a fantastic.
Does that make sense?
I don't care if that's true. I'm going with that. That is awesome.
That's why they put so much sodium in it. So
That is hysterical.
Okay, so let's say this, let this cook about another 5
And by
minutes.
deglazing, there's going to be certain like
Little
yummy
fond-
brown
yeah,
bits
good
that
stuff.
stick
Exactly.
to
Down
the
the bottom, you want to get all that good stuff up.
All right.
Okay.
It's
so that's
smelling good already. I can
Is it?
smell that garlic.
All
and the
right.
shallot. It's great.
Okay, so I'm going to add a little pepper. Again, no salt. And then I'm going to add the vegetable stock.
And that's a nice healthy alternative as well.
Yeah.
And there are, I mean, now if you had the luxury of making your own vegetable stock, that would probably be really awesome.
Which is great if you know.
But there's a ton of those on the market now.
Yeah, that's true. But instead of going in the compost pile, you can always make a vegetable stock out of your carrot peelings and your onions.
And all people have to do is, if you're cutting an onion, cutting a carrot, and you've got those little odd ends, throw them in a bag and stick them in the freezer. And when the bag fills up, stick them in a pot of water, let it cook down for a few hours, you have vegetable stock.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, so this is our pasta's cooking.
Okay, so this is going to now we've got the pasta cooking, and our sauce is going to start bubbling and reducing
Exactly.
down. And how long is that going to take?
About another 10 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to let that sauce bubble away.
Yes.
All right, and when we come back from our break, we're going to finish that up and add a little shrimp to it, correct?
Yes, we're going to add shrimp, vegetables, Parmesan, spinach.
Perfect.
It's going to be great.
All right, in other words, don't go away because we got some more cooking to do. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Community Cooking. If you are just joining us, I'm in the kitchen with Andrea DeSantis.
Hello.
Who is a chef at Providence Little Company of Mary Hospital.
Yes.
And today you are showing us how to make a healthy version of shrimp scampi.
Exactly.
Now, we've got our sauce going over here.
We do.
And this is started with roasted vegetables.
Yes.
Okay, we got that into a pot with some aromatics, deglazed with some sherry.
Some sherry.
And then put in some vegetable stock.
Yep, low sodium vegetable stock, and it's reduced down.
We cooked some pasta, which we have here. Now we've got to get to the shrimp and the veggies.
The shrimp, well, first I'm going to
oh, that's
blend.
right.
I'm
You're
gonna
right.
blend.
We've got to finish this.
Yeah,
You're
so
correct.
Let me turn this off. And then we're just going to blend this with a handheld mixer. If you don't have a handheld mixer, what you're going to have to do, if you don't want to have one of those expensive $500 Vitamixes,
right.
you need to let this cool and then blend it in your regular blender.
Otherwise, it could explode all over
yeah,
you.
which
Now,
is
how much do you love these?
I don't know what we did without them.
I know, right?
Yeah. So let's just, whoa, there you go. So we're just going to blend like this. You should see the size of this blender. We have these at the hospital that are about 3 feet long that we use for soups and sauces.
The boat motor.
Yeah, exactly.
And these things are good for so many different things.
Exactly. You can do smoothies with this if you want to do, yeah, soups. And again, if you want to do a real quick raspberry sauce or strawberry sauce for desserts.
Anytime you need something really quickly emulsified.
Salad dressings. And if you have a few lumps, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly blended. It just adds more texture to the dish.
Right.
All right, I'm going to leave that for a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that looks so good.
And you want to keep it warm, you can just leave it on simmer.
Okay.
Or remove it from the heat because this is going to go really quickly now.
Are we going to, now, is this done at this point here?
Yep,
Okay,
the sauce
great.
is done.
We could, if you wanted to be a little on the unhealthy side, we could add some heavy cream to
I
that
was
and
going to
make
say,
that
I was thinking that
tomato
because that's,
soup,
because
right?
you know, you can't go wrong with butter and cream. Sometimes.
Right.
But that's
Every
not where-
once in a while.
But that's not where we're going with this.
No, that's not what we're doing. We're being good today.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now I'm going to saute up the shrimp.
Okay.
I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil.
And that's like really like almost the
Garlic?
first olive oil we've added, right? Everything else has been cooking spray.
Yeah, there was a little bit in
Oh, that's
here.
right, in there,
Yeah.
in there. Okay.
All right, so we don't want to burn our garlic because
No,
burnt garlic is horrible.
And these are going to go fast,
yeah,
right?
really quickly.
Right. If you haven't cooked a lot of shrimp, it's like, look at them, they're turning color already, and once they go from translucent to opaque, they are done, correct?
Yeah. So I have all my vegetables prepped here. I just got the pear tomatoes. You can use cherry tomatoes. You can use the tricolored cherry tomatoes.
They even have heirloom,
I know.
like baby
Yeah,
tomatoes.
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So while that shrimp's going,
And these are so delicious.
I know you can just pop them like candy. And then I dice some red peppers.
Okay. And now, here's a situation where you do want to make your cuts a little bit prettier, correct?
Yeah.
Because we're not zhuzhing it with the blender.
No.
We are keeping these. And I see what you're doing here is you're mimicking the flavors that you put in that sauce.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
so now what we've done is we've taken the flavors that are in that sauce, but like brought the texture back. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So there's that. And then we have a little red onion.
Okay. Now, from what I understand, you guys, first of all, what I didn't realize, the cafeteria or the commissary there is open to the public.
It
correct?
is, and it's one of the best deals in town. I tell
Really?
you. Again, everything is from scratch, reasonably well priced. You can get out of there for under $8 for a meal. All our soups are homemade.
And sort of prepared by the same guidelines, like we're trying to keep things healthy but make them taste good.
Exactly.
And now how about with the catering? Now this catering also available just to the general public,
It
correct?
is, yeah. We have some very talented chefs who come from the restaurant business, who come from the catering business, so they've been there, done that.
And you would not think that, you know, for your catering needs, just contact the hospital.
I know, it'd be the furthest thing from your mind, isn't
Right.
it? So that's getting there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my vegetables.
Okay. There are the red onions, the red peppers, the tomatoes. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also the spinach too we're adding,
The spinach, yeah. I'm going to do that pretty much at the last.
Right? Healthy. My goodness. So now, once we these vegetables might take a few minutes,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Because you don't want them raw, so let those cook a little bit longer.
Just till they soften.
Yeah, just till they soften, because I cut them up fairly small,
Okay.
so they shouldn't take very long. So this is going on. I'm going to add my fresh herbs.
Yes, and you have an abundance of fresh
I
herbs
have fresh
here.
parsley.
Very farmers market friendly. That's one of my favorite things about the farmers market is the selection of herbs.
Exactly, and you can get fresh ones there too, and to
Right.
grow yourself. That's what I do. You can get, like 3 for $5.
And it's so easy to keep it going. And if you
Basil.
keep it going, you just have this stuff around all the time.
Exactly.
And it's a really good way. Herbs, I know, like chefs that are cooking with health concerns in mind, use a lot of herbs because it's a great way to bring flavor to a dish and keep it healthful. Great. Oh, look how nice that looks too.
Making a little bit of mess, but
Immediately
I will
brings
clean the
color to
stove.
the dish.
And there's your spinach.
Awesome. So that spinach, I imagine, is going to go fairly quickly?
Yeah, Give
Okay,
it a good
so
2 minutes.
all that's left now is to do that and plate it? Well, I tell you what, we're going to go to break, and on the other side, I'm going to do some eating. So stick around. You're watching Community Cooking. Welcome back to Community Cooking. If you're just joining us, I'm in the kitchen with Chef Andrew DeSantis, who is with Providence Little Company of Mary Hospital. Now, We have been making basically what would you call this, a healthy alternative?
To shrimp scampi.
Right, which, as we all know, is made with gobs and gobs of butter.
Which you can't go wrong every once in a while.
It is delicious,
I know,
right?
but this we incorporate fresh vegetables, spinach.
A lot of fresh
tomato,
vegetables.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean,
Pepper, spinach, not only in the pasta, but in the sauce.
I mean, and you know, there were a few processes here, but they're very easy processes. I mean, we started over here with this sauce by roasting some vegetables and then getting them into the pot with some aromatics, letting them cook with some, deglazing it, letting it cook with some stock, and then just blending it up.
Yeah, and there's nothing to say you can't do the sauce the day before.
True.
Yeah.
Or use it on its own.
Yeah, use it on its own.
Or
I mean,
mix
it's
in different vegetables. And then over here, I mean, we've just got some diced veggies.
Yeah, garlic, shrimp, fresh spinach.
And our shrimp,
Yeah.
right. So, I mean, fairly easy preparation. All right, so what do you say we plate some of this up?
Okay.
Because I'm starting to salivate.
All right. So I have all the shrimp and the vegetables going here. I'm going to add the roasted tomato sauce.
Oh, nice. And that's pretty, too. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a nice color.
Now, you could also make this vegetarian, I guess, right?
Oh, definitely.
Any thoughts on, like, let's say you wanted to make it vegetarian but keep the protein. What would we do there?
Well, you could use grains, you know, instead of, you have your pasta, but I like farro, which is one of my favorite grains.
Farro is delicious. That's sort of the new hot grain,
I know,
too, right?
I know,
Everything's got farro
I do
on it.
anything, I do a farro risotto instead of using arborio rice.
Or even like a farro cold salad. That's
what
one of my
I do.
favorites.
And instead of doing croutons, instead of using the bread, I put the cooked farro on top instead of a crouton. It gives a little bit of crunch.
And now this too, this does have a protein content to it higher than like regular bleached flour, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of different ways, and you have all the other. You can always go tofu, but you have the tempeh. You know, the other, the other vegetarian options.
Now you're going right with your pasta into the sauce, so that this is going to pick up.
Heat through, and pick up all the good flavors.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, it smells so delicious.
And then what we're going to do is finish with a little crushed red pepper.
Good. I like the heat, so bring it.
I know.
There you go.
Again, with the heat, using black pepper or white pepper or crushed red pepper, you don't need to use so much salt.
Right, you're sort of filling in those flavor
Exactly.
profiles. Great. Now, let me ask you a question. You mentioned before the break that over at the hospital you're serving 2,200 meals.
Yes.
And you've got, like, I mean, food deliveries that are coming in twice a day.
Yes.
How do you guys control food waste? Well,
what a great thing that we just started is Food Finders, which is a way to deal with food insecurities within our local area. What we do, we save all our leftovers at the end of the day, and they come in the next day and pick up all our leftovers, and it's all local. So Food Finders finds different places that need food, and they come and get it. So it all stays local, and it just deals with the food insecurities within our own area. It doesn't go somewhere far away. It all stays here.
It's not even an issue about like controlling food waste. There is none.
Yeah.
There is none. It's all being donated back to the community.
Yes.
And so that the Food Finders almost kind of acts like as a broker. So they
go find people who need it and people who have it, and they bring them together.
That's what you call a win-win situation.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome. That's really, really cool. See, you learn something new every day. Now I know that not only can a hospital serve delicious food,
yes,
but you have catering.
Yes.
You'll cater a party, and you'll actually give back to the community too. So that's wonderful.
All right, you ready to eat some pasta?
Did you really even need to ask?
All right.
Let's do this. Let's do this. And if I go to the cafeteria, I can actually get this meal, right?
Yeah, we want to check if it's specifically on the menu, but like I said, we have so many different things every day. The menu changes every day.
Man, who's coordinating all of that?
We have Chef Jesus over at Torrance, and I'm actually at San Pedro. I sometimes go over to Torrance. My
home city.
Yeah, Pedro, Pride. And so we coordinate everything and try and find seasonal items to use.
Okay.
Again, not emphasis on the vegetables, because you're supposed to cut down on your the red meats and things like that. So we can do a little emphasis on fresh vegetables.
And you know what's great about this too? What I'm liking about this is that this is a great way to get vegetables into people who don't like vegetables.
Yeah.
Right? Because first of all, the sauce, which is all vegetable, has been emulsified into something that they're just going to think is
Yeah, it
tomatoes.
kind of looks creamy when you look at it. I
Yeah.
mean, who's to say there isn't cream in it? I mean,
Right,
or
if you
lie
eat
and say there's
soup, you'll
cream.
eat that,
Yeah.
right? And then in terms of what's in the with the shrimp, you know, I mean, there's spinach in there, but by the time that cooks down, we're really talking about, you know, I mean, it doesn't look like
Doesn't
much.
look like spinach, does it?
Right.
Well, spinach always starts out this, and once you cook it, it's where'd it
I
go?
know, right?
Where'd it go?
Okay, can you get me a fork?
I
Because
certainly can.
And I see you put a little cheese on it now.
Yeah.
This
Again, optional.
okay, but we're also talking Parmesan, so
Not a high fat content.
Right,
And a little salty, which is good because again, if you saw, I put no added salt into this dish.
all right. So here we go. Here we go. And I want to get a little bit of everything on my bite. All right. No, it's absolutely delicious. You know what? I miss the salt.
Good. That's what we're
That's
trying
crazy.
to do.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of, you know, I cook with salt. And, you know, I come from the school of like everything
A little
needs to
bit,
be
yeah.
properly
If
seasoned.
a little bit's good, more is better.
Right, and I'm kind of like watching this going, there's a lot of water content in these veggies. It's going to need the salt. It's going to need the salt. But I think you're absolutely right. I think there's a bit of a briny quality of the shrimp, which I think adds a salt content to it. Then we've got the cheese, a little bit more salt, and then everything else is being filled in with herbs and a little bit of heat.
Yeah, yeah, and fresh herbs. And then again, if you don't have the fresh herbs or you can't make it to the farmer's market to buy your fresh herbs, you can always use dried. Just always remember to use a little bit less because the dry shrink in volume as they dry.
What are some of your favorite things that you've brought that you get to make on a daily basis there?
On a daily basis, well, some things I brought from from my restaurant days, which was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Fresh bread. I do fresh bread from scratch.
Nice.
Focaccia.
Fresh bread
sometimes.
at the hospital?
For parties and things like
Okay,
that. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Desserts, bread pudding. Again, I make the bread pudding. I like fresh soups. I always like soups because soups you can put anything into a soup.
Good way to use up
Leftovers.
Sure. Well, Andrew, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, delicious pasta. Learned a lot about Providence, Little Company of Mary. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I would really hope that all of you make this because it is truly delicious. We really are cooking with some of the best chefs here in our community. Thank you so much for watching Community Cooking. We will see you next time. Awesome. Great job. Great.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200 in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.